If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you've left a narcissistic relationship and you're drowning in guilt. Maybe you're lying awake at night wondering if you made the right choice. Maybe you're checking their social media, seeing them move on so quickly and thinking, was I the problem? Maybe friends or family are telling you to forgive and forget, or that relationships take work from both sides. Hi, my name is Michele Paradise, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, where I bring together evidence-based information coupled with my own lived experiences to help you navigate the most important relationship in your life, which is the one with yourself. So let's get started. But before we do, if you aren't already a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber and don't want to miss any of my videos, please hit the notification button. So I want you now to take a deep breath. I'll do it with you, because what I'm about to share with you might be the most important thing you hear today. The guilt you're carrying, it's not actually yours. No, I want to help you understand what that guilt is and where this guilt is really coming from. So let me start by saying something clearly. Feeling guilty after leaving a narcissistic relationship is not a character flaw. It's actually proof of how deeply you were manipulated. And I know that might sound harsh, but please stay with me. Narcissistic individuals are masters at something called guilt programming. This isn't something they do consciously in most cases, but it's incredibly effective. They've probably developed a muscle memory for it because they did it before consciously, but now they do it unconsciously. So throughout your relationship, you are systematically trained to believe several toxic beliefs. First, that their emotional state was your responsibility. When they were angry, it was because of something you did. When they were sad, you should drop everything to fix it. When they were disappointed, it was your job to make it better. Second, that your needs were selfish. Every time you expressed a need, set a boundary, or asked for basic respect, it was met with some form of punishment. Maybe they gave you the silent treatment. That's one of the worst punishments. Maybe they accused you of being too sensitive or dramatic. Or maybe they turned the tables and made themselves the victim. Darvo, we've all heard about that. Third, that leaving would destroy them. They probably told you things like, I can't live without you. You're the only good thing in my life, or I'll change. Just give me one more chance. These aren't expressions of love, they're manipulation. They're manipulation tactics designed to make you feel responsible for their well-being. The result? Your nervous system learned to associate your own needs and boundaries with danger and guilt. Every time you tried to protect yourself, you were met with such intense emotional consequences that your brain learned to see self-protection as harmful. Think about that one for a moment. So, what is the difference between guilt and responsibility? Now, I want to talk about the difference between the two of those because there is healthy guilt and there is manipulated guilt. Because this distinction is crucial for your healing. Healthy guilt serves a purpose. It shows up when we've genuinely hurt someone through our actions or our words. It motivates us to apologize, make amends, and change our behavior. Healthy guilt is proportional to what actually happened. And it resolves when we take appropriate action by saying, I'm sorry, or, I didn't think before I spoke and I didn't realize I hurt you. But the guilt you're feeling after leaving a narcissistic relationship, well, that's different. That's what I call programmed guilt. It's disproportionate, persistent, and it doesn't resolve no matter what you do. No amount of apologizing, no amount of explaining to the narcissist seems to take it away. So let me give you some examples of what I mean. You feel guilty for blocking them on social media. I hear this all the time. Even though they use those platforms to stalk, harass, or manipulate you. You feel guilty for not responding to their messages, even though those messages were filled with blame, manipulation, or false promises, maybe even some future faking about the things that they were going to give you and offer you. You feel guilty for telling your friends and family the truth about what happened, even though you have every right to seek support and validation, and please do. That is the first step to healing after awareness, is getting a support system of trusted humans around you. You feel guilty for moving forward with your life, even though staying stuck would serve no one. So here's what I really need you to understand. You are not responsible for managing another adult's emotions, especially not an adult who consistently disrespected your boundaries and well-being. Let that sink in. You are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to acknowledge their own behavior. And you are absolutely not responsible for staying in a relationship that was damaging your mental health. So what does a healthy relationship actually look like? Because you know what? So many of us that have been in narcissistic relationships may have never seen what a healthy relationship looks like. And we have no idea, which is why we continue to attract those kinds of people. I want to paint a different picture for you, because after being in a narcissistic relationship, it's easy to forget what healthy love actually looks like. Or as I said earlier, we have never seen it in our lives. We've lived what we've learned. In healthy relationships, your partner doesn't make you feel guilty for having boundaries. They respect them. They don't punish you with the silent treatment or rage when you express a need. They listen and work with you to find solutions. In healthy relationships, you don't walk on eggshells. You don't spend hours analyzing every word you said, wondering if you caused their mood shift. You don't find yourself constantly apologizing for things that aren't your fault. In healthy relationships, both people take responsibility for their own emotions and mental health. Your partner doesn't blame you for their feelings, and they don't expect you to fix their problems for them. In healthy relationships, you feel safe to be yourself. You can express opinions, have interest, maintain friendships, and pursue goals without fear of retaliation or manipulation, and without them as well. And here's the big one. In healthy relationships, if someone decides to leave, the other person might be hurt or disappointed, but they respect that decision. They don't launch campaigns to guilt, manipulate, or punish the other person for choosing to walk away. They don't run smear campaigns against that person, pulling out all the stops, finding their Achilles heel, and going for it. The fact that you're feeling this level of guilt for leaving tells me that the relationship you left was not healthy. It tells me that you were conditioned to prioritize their comfort over your own safety. So, how can you release this guilt? I'm going to give you some practical steps. Here are 5 concrete steps. Number 1, name it. Every time you feel that guilt creeping in, I want you to say out loud, this is programmed guilt. This is not my authentic feeling. Your brain needs to hear the difference. Number 2, challenge the thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking, maybe I was too harsh, or maybe I should reach out, ask yourself, would I want my best friend to stay in a relationship like this? Even if it's a family member, okay? Because I know this is a big one for people. Blood is not thicker than water. Abuse is abuse, no matter who it comes from. What advice would I give someone I love in this situation? And I promise you, you'd give them the advice to get out and not carry the guilt with them when they leave. Step 3, document your reality. Write down specific examples of how you were treated. It's really important. There's a connection between the brain and the hand, so write it down. It has much more emotion, much more power. And even if it's only for you, you might not use this for anything else, it really will create a feedback loop for you. When the guilt hits, read your own words. Your memory might be foggy from trauma, but your written experiences don't lie. Step 4, build a support system, as I said earlier. Surround yourself with people who validate your experiences and don't force you to just get on with it. And the people that remind you of your worth. This might mean joining support groups. They're out there. Working with a therapist who understands narcissistic abuse, or connecting with friends who've seen what you've been through. Not the doubters, okay? The ones that actually accept what you've been through. Number 5, practice self-compassion. You would never expect someone to stay in a relationship that was damaging their mental health. Extend that same compassion to yourself. You made the brave choice to prioritize your well-being, and that deserves recognition, not guilt. Your new chapter starts here. I want to address something that might be coming up for you as you're watching this. You might be thinking, but what if I really did hurt them? What if I wasn't perfect either? You weren't. Trust me, we're all perfectly imperfect. Nobody is perfect in relationships. You probably made mistakes. Of course you did. You might have said things in anger or reacted in ways you're not proud of. That's human, especially when you're being systematically manipulated and emotionally abused. But here's the key difference. You're here watching this video, examining your behavior and wanting to do better. That shows self-reflection and self-awareness and growth. Someone with true narcissistic traits wouldn't be having this conversation with themselves. They would have exited this video in the first 30 seconds. Your imperfections don't justify staying in a relationship that was damaging you. Your mistakes don't mean you deserve to be manipulated and abused. And your humanity definitely doesn't mean you should sacrifice your mental health to spare someone else's feelings. Moving forward means accepting that you made the best decision you could with the knowledge and the information and emotional capacity you had at that time. It means recognizing that choosing yourself wasn't selfish, it was necessary survival. You are not responsible for healing someone who hurt you. Leave that to the therapist. You are not obligated to light yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. And you are absolutely not required to carry guilt that was placed on you through manipulation. Your job now is to heal, to rebuild your sense of self, and to create the life you deserve. That guilt you're carrying, it's not serving you, and it's not serving them either. You made the right choice. Trust that feeling. So please hit the subscribe button or the notification button, and all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for listening to my video today, and please stay safe, and I'll see you at the next video.